But he thought that a boy should learn to work, and so at 14, he had me take a little job in the organization where he was general manager. My first job was to help other printers wash their presses. And I got a little cocky one day, and I said to one of the pressmen, you let the ink go dry, but you don't want to wash the press. Why don't I clean and wash the presses from me that I get dirty, and you wash the ones that you get dirty? And he was very gentle. He said, Tom, it's time you learn the difference between an apprentice and a journeyman. And not the journeyman. I buried him later, spoke at his funeral. That had nothing to do with printing. He was a wonderful man. We printed everything in the company that I ended up managing, the Deseret Press, from telephone directories to scriptures, anything. No job too small, no job too large was at the bottom at one time. And that's where I'd like to compliment Jim Mortimer, who served as an officer, who succeeded me, as did Kay Schweineman, who was a member of the Printing Association, like I was, at a different period of time than Jim Mortimer. Printer's ink has a nice aroma to it. You miss it. And by the way, when you're working with printer's ink, mosquitoes don't bite you. I've never seen a mosquito bite on a printer who uses that type of ink. Nonetheless, those are just minor things. But the major things I feel in my life has been to try to organize a group of men into a unit of productivity, and one that which will feel well about their work, women as well. And so I was one of the original members of the Printing Industry of Utah. I jotted down some of the names. Max Wheelwright from Wheelwright Litho. Dean Wallen, Paragon Press. Fred Schweineman, Utah Printing. Nelson from Quality Press. And so it went from one company to another. And we had a fine organization. We started Printing Industry of Utah, and later helped in the Craftsman organization for those who were craftsmen, hands-on in doing printing work. As I think back to some of the narrow escapes in printing, I pride myself on being able to beat a press faster than anyone. Now what honor that is, I don't know. But you have a stack of paper, you print it, you have the image on a platen, and you feed that piece of paper into one guy, then the other guy, and at the same time you're pulling the other printed sheet out, putting it over here. And you do like that, and you put a slip sheet of paper in between so that it will not offset the back of that one. So you have a... Now you wake up doing that. But I have all my fingernails. I've never caught through the press yet. And I enjoyed organizing the Printing Industry of Utah as its first president. We used to meet and have breakfast and talk about printing. We also put a printing shop in the first vocational press in Utah, down in the Utah County area. I'm going down there to receive an honorary degree this week, I think it is there. And I'll be talking about starting the printing operation there. I'm looking forward to that. I love history, and I love to remember the fondness of many men and women with whom I've worked in this particular industry. I'm going to tell you a secret I shouldn't tell you. Then it won't be a secret. Many years ago, when I was managing the press, I had a call at 4 o'clock in the morning from the Utah Highway Patrol. You don't want to hear from them. 4 o'clock in the morning. They said, we found many, many sheets of paper out here on the banks of the Jordan River, and maybe hundreds of them. And it is the big sheet with the printing of Joseph Smith's story. And we understand you know something about printing. We thought you ought to come and see it. So I went and saw it. And so I had a truck pick it up and bring it to my office at the plant. Obviously, I knew what had happened. Someone on the night shift had fallen asleep and didn't notice a sheet of paper going through the press with a piece of metal on it. And that smashed the plate. And for the next hours, while that press ran automatically, each sheet was ruined. And so he, not knowing what else to do, took the course of least resistance. He had a truck, loaded it all on the truck, dumped it in the banks of the Jordan River. I found it. And I found he was on shift that night and invited him to come over when he came on shift. I had it all stacked in my office. It was stacked. And he walked in and said, "Do you want me to leave now or later?" And I said, "Well, what did you do?" He said, "I got frightened. And I made such a colossal error, I just couldn't face anybody. So I dumped it all on the banks of the Jordan River. Because I know I'm through here." And I said, "Yes, you probably are." And he left. And he found a job at another printing company. Now, maybe you'll learn a little bit about me. Years later, he was unemployed. He came back. And he came into my office. And he said, "I'm here to apologize for the fact that you didn't blackball me in the printing industry." And he said, "If you ever have an opening, I'd love to come back." I said, "Matter of fact, we have one. You're hired today." And he worked until he retired. One of the finest pressmen we ever had. And I felt better about it. I believe we're in the business of printing, we're in the business of typesetting and lithography, but we're also in the business of building people. And that yields a greater reward. I'm going to give you a little test.